It's got a problem.
We don't have a problem.
We have a problem.
About what,
man.
the graphics?
No. With Brew and I have a problem with you.
Yeah.
We talked about it a lot. We said we're going to do an on-air intervention.
I'm sorry, but
If you want to do 365 Patriots talk,
Yeah.
go to Nesson. It's not what our audience expects.
What do they want to hear? They want to hear
any
about a real
national
dynasty or a fake dynasty?
No, what they want to hear about is relevant stories in 2025.
Then why are we talking about a Chiefs dynasty?
Wilds, that's
For
a
real, why
take.
are we doing
Let's do that topic. Let's do the Chiefs not being a dynasty. Let's do anything other than more Patriots talk.
Should have put them higher on tier. Should have. That's on the committee. If you put them higher on tier, I would have said
they were
logically
dead
placed.
last.
They weren't dead last. Tears is
last.
coming.
They're
They're
dead
one
last.
of
They're dead
7
last.
teams at the bottom, which is better than their draft position. They're not drafting 7th. Tell you that much.
So here's the top 8 scorers of all time. LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, Jordan, Dirk, Wilt, and then KD.
What a list.
Brew, what do you think Durant's legacy will be?
First, I'm happy for KD. Like, he seems more comfortable in front of the media. I see him smiling more, kind of joking a little bit more. So that's good. Obviously, he's had run-ins with the media and stuff. Legacy, obviously one of the greatest pure scorers we've ever seen. Pure scorer. I used to say before he went to Golden State, he was like a 7-foot Steph Curry. That's what I felt. He's got the great jump shot. He had the handle to get to the rim. He's obviously a great mid-range shooter. Like, that's really what I kind of viewed him as. I also look at him as pioneer, predecessor, whatever you want to call it, to today's game. Like, Magic and Bird were kind of the first big guys that did a lot of made plays on the perimeter with their shots and passing and stuff, handling. And Dirk is obviously the first, like, 7-footer to shoot threes and be a jump shooter. And Durant's the second. And Durant, obviously, I think we all agree, is better than Dirk and had the handle that Dirk didn't have, scored in, got to the rim a little better. So now, of course, that's somewhat commonplace, not at Durant's level, but big guys shooting jumpers, handling the ball. So he's got a great legacy. There's no doubt. Now, look, obviously, it's no secret that the general consensus, and I agree with it, is that he's not the great leader. He lacks the intangibles to lead teams to championships. I think that right now in the moment, that's what people look at him as. Great pure scorer, lacks the intangibles like the Steph, the LeBron, the Jordan, Kobe, those guys, to really lead teams to titles. I actually think, though, that fades over time. Like, I think once he retires, people just going to look at him as a fantastic player. Nobody thinks about Barkley not playing defense or Scottie Pippen and other players said he's not a winner. After playing with him, he doesn't have the habits to win. Like, that fades away, and you just remember this dude was an all-time great.
Before we get to the other stuff we're going to do here, tell me if you think this is fair, maybe too nice or too mean. I look at him a lot like I look at Shaq, in that one of the greatest players with one of the greatest careers ever, who I also think underachieved. Because and again, I feel badly because I really do like Kevin, and he hates these types of conversations and very public about it, and I know he thinks they're unfair because what you were describing, in the beginning, one of the most all-around skilled basketball players we've ever seen.
Right.
And Shaq is, I think, the most dominant, modern era basketball player we've ever seen. And it feels like for both of them, there was just, for Shaq, it was probably just staying in shape and the offseason work ethic. And for Durant, it was his open allergy to doing some of the things that he feels is the coach and organization's job and not his, that prevented them from being, both Shaq and Durant, in my opinion, the best case scenario of their careers is they are in the GOAT conversation. I think both of them. Like you played out 100 times, given their skill set, their dominance, all those things. And so it feels like they achieved all this great stuff, and yet it doesn't quite get there, as opposed to a guy like Bird or Steph, where you're like, man, they got 99th percentile outcomes for their careers, given what their skill sets were. That's how.
I remember one time Steve Kerr told me, this was during Shaq's prime. He said if Shaq had the killer instinct, I was doing a story on guys with killer instincts. He said if Shaq had the killer instinct, he'd have 8 titles. Yeah. And that, because Shaq if Shaq had Kobe's mentality, like he just would have been wrecking shop for a decade and a half, So, I think Durant, too, Shaq was probably a gentle giant syndrome.
Yep.
Like, he's so big growing up, you just don't want to dominate your little friends. But Durant, it's personality related, too. It's just not his personality. And that's fine, but yeah, I mean, had he been that type of dog, like a Kobe or somebody, I don't know about GOAT conversation. I think, like, he never was a great rebounder for his size. He's never averaged 9 rebounds a game. His 8 is fine, but he's a 7-footer, essentially. Mm-hmm. Not a terrific defender, good defender, not a bad one. One of the things that dropped Durant, in my eyes, just a tad, a smidge, was when I saw him, because, a lot of people talk about if he had been playing in the 90s or early, 2000s and stuff like that, he would have been unstoppable. He would have been a unicorn. They wouldn't have known what to do with him. 7 feet, can shoot over you,
You're
great
talking about
jump
when
shot.
the Celtics roughed
Yes,
him up?
yeah.
The close sweep.
I think
the
2021, when the Celtics swept Brooklyn, Kyrie was playing.
Yeah.
And all they did was play physical 1990 style defense, and he couldn't do any. He shot 36%. He was turning the ball over left and right, 5 turnovers a game. So that he would have been great in the 90s. Don't get me wrong, superstar. But he'd have been what he is now. He'd have been that level of superstar and not dominated the league like a Jordan or somebody. But I did do some rankings. It's funny. I listened to some TV shows that they were watching them, and guys were arguing over whether he's top 10.
Nobody actually thinks he's top 10.
Yeah, well, one person, a good friend of mine, great friend of mine, who.
Well, I guess.
Here's what my point though. He said he's definitely top 10, but you don't list the top 10.
Well,
you can't. No, we always say it. It's 15 dudes in the top 10.
The reason I said nobody actually thinks it is, and we'll do there is no. If they actually were to be like make the list, there is no one that actually would have him in the top 10. And I think you're going to demonstrate it, so I'll let you go ahead. Nobody.
Yeah. So I agree with that, Nick. So here I go. I did tiers, and it's going to be fun, I think. Oh. So the top tier is the GOAT convo. Michael, LeBron, Kareem.
Shout out Magic.
And I'm putting Magic. It's a small convo. Most people don't have him in it. No. But there are a few. There are a handful that'll throw Magic in there.
And Magic's GOAT conversation is more of the what if he never got HIV? You know what I mean? Like, what if...
That's part of it, like, but what he did, 12 years, 9 of them in the finals,
and I think it was 9 years, top 3 MVP finishes, 9 finals, all of that, and then it just abruptly finished. So that I'm fine with that.
Just an incredible winner and best basketball IQ in the history of the league. All right, tier 1A, not even 2. This is top 10 conversation. Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Duncan, Kobe, Steph, Shaq and Wilt Chamberlain. That's top 10 combos. So that's 11 guys in the conversation. Then you got tier 2, all right? Yeah. And these are top 20 convo, and it's in this order.
Yes.
Olajuwon, Dr. J, Isaiah. A lot of people be shocked by Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah won 2 championships, almost won 3 straight, 2 straight. I believe has a winning record against Bird, Jordan, and Magic.
Yes.
All right, and he's 6'1", and didn't have the supporting cast that Magic and Bird had. Jokic, yes.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? 3 MVPs, 1 championship, averaging a triple-double as we speak. Giannis, yes. But why not?
This is so funny.
Jerry West, these 3, I'm like, I've got all these I've mentioned so far ahead of Durant.
So that puts
Jerry
16?
West, Durant, I think Jerry West would be 16, Durant would be 7. But those 2, Oscar and Moses Malone. Yeah. So that Durant is in that last 4 groups. And then these are guys I regret that I actually like Barkley's game better than
Still pretty
Durant's,
good.
but
You're one of the
but
30
25.
best
yeah,
players.
this is 25.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Dwayne Wade, Barkley, Karl Malone, Robinson, Garnett, and Dirk.
Yes, David Robinson and Dirk. Yes.
So I have a better view of it. All right, so something kind of embarrassing has happened to the show, Wilds. Because where does Brew prep?
Upstairs on the 3rd floor by himself.
Fourth floor.
Was it the 4th floor?
Yeah. So
I've never been up there to see me, so you wouldn't know.
So Dust, let's just go to my thing that I was gonna do last, but I'll just do it first. I did something similar.
Huh?
But here, when I was looking at it, these are not numbered, but it's the GOAT combo. We have basically the same thing. Arguably top 5, we have the same thing. So we have to go through all of it. I just put the previous era legends. I put everybody pre-1965 basically in one group, in Russell, Wilt, West, and Oscar. Just, yes, their own thing. And then this is why I agree with you on the top 10 thing entirely. Because even if you want to say everyone pre-Kareem's ineligible, Russell, Wilt, Oscar, and West, different game, throw them out. You still have to find a couple people from the GOAT combo group, the arguably top 5 group, Magic, Duncan, Kobe, Bird, or Akeem, Shaq, Steph. You got to find 2 guys to take out to put Durant in. That's why I said nobody actually has it. But this is what is tough. Because I agree with you. I think Jokic and Giannis have surpassed him. So I put him in the all-time greats tier, which is Dr. J, Moses, Isaiah, I would have said the exact same things, and Kevin Durant.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is everyone saying Giannis is a guarantee?
Because I think they both have 1 MVP. Giannis is the better defender.
And Giannis has 2 MVPs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Giannis has 2
Durant
MVPs. Durant has 1. Giannis has 1 championship. Durant has 2. I find the way Giannis won that championship and him being the driving force of that team, it's his team. And I think that while Durant scores in such a prettier manner, Giannis is, as far as actual points per game, almost in line with Durant, and I think does just about everything, not passing better, but everything else better. And so
passing's close.
It's passing to me is close,
even.
and the defense is
way better.
Defense is huge.
Demonstrably different.
Yes.
And so this is what I found so interesting. Because and now we can go through the other stuff, and I give it to you, Wilds, because scoring 30,000 points is a big deal. In fact, it's a big enough deal, they used to stop the game and give you a trophy, and it was a whole thing. This is what happened when Michael did it. It's also noteworthy, this picture, because it means 30,000 points, such a big deal. Michael didn't get there as a Bull. Right. Like, think about that. And now he didn't play as long, obviously. And as far as how old were you when you got there? And it speaks to Durant's, he faster than everyone on the right-hand column. Now, again, Michael spent a bunch of time away from the game.
Wilt and Jordan were the fastest.
Wilt and Jordan were fastest games-wise. But this is what I find so perplexing about Kevin Durant, Wilds. If we look at, since the merger, all of the guys who were real big-time players, all-stars, most high-leverage playoff games, conference or NBA finals games in league history, before they turned 30. So you have Magic, LeBron, Kobe, Bird, Durant, and then those guys co-stars, right? McHale was Bird's co-star. Worthy was Magic's co-star. Draymond and Clay were Steph's co-star. He just barely missed out. And now that same list of guys, the conference finals and finals games after turning 30. McHale's feet went out on him and he wasn't the star anyway. Worthy wasn't the star. Draymond and Clay weren't the star. Magic got HIV. LeBron, Kobe, Bird. Durant's played 1 game. It's the game he popped his Achilles. Yeah. And that is what is so even if you look at Wild's Durant's career as 20s, 30s, man, his 20s, 6 times in the top 5 MVP, 8-time All-NBA, 6-time first team, 3 finals appearances, 2 titles. For a guy to he missed 1 year with the injury, that you know what I mean, his age 30 season. Or for his 30s to have no pelts on the wall at all, while he is still a 30-a-game scorer, something close to it, it's so perplexing. And it's so baffling for such a great player, and it's the likes of which I just haven't seen.
So I'll ask you this, Brew. Do you chalk that up to, I think when you look back at history, people might look at that as hurt his Achilles and wasn't the same. We don't really subscribe to that because he came
Because he's
back.
been so good.
But that's the line in the sand.
But I feel like, I don't. I feel like the line in the sand went to the Nets.
Okay, so that's the other question. Do you view that fall off as a product of decision making? Hey, you made some bad calls on who to team up with, or we know that we had the statistic about how many games the Nets' big three played together, and this is one that Josh got. Right now, KD, Booker, and Beal have only played 51% of all possible games. So is it bad decision making or just dumb luck that guys twisted their ankle in a playoff series and it didn't work for them?
I think both are a factor. I think I would lean toward more the decision making. Look, Brooklyn obviously was a failure, but the injuries, Durant, Harden, and Kyrie were rarely healthy together. Kyrie obviously had the anti-vaccination stance, which kept him out. And so that was a problem. However, at that time, Kyrie certainly wasn't a great leader. None of those three have been viewed as great leaders. So would they have maximized themselves anyway? We don't know.
With Pro Plan Sport, incredible happens here. But it starts here. Pro Plan Sport, advanced nutrition for strength and stamina.
I thought that could have won. They could have won the championship had they been healthy. And you're right, everything would have been different. Phoenix, same thing as far as injuries. They're not as good. But if he had stayed in Golden State, and I applauded him when he left just because it was like people were shooting down the 2 rings in Golden State. Oh, he joined a 73-win team. And whether he wanted to prove it or not, it felt like he was saying, all right, I'm going to go win it on my own with some talent. And I applauded that. Like, it didn't work out. But had he stayed in Golden State, they won one after him. They could have won at least 2, maybe 3. Maybe he has 4 or 5 rings. He probably has at least 4. So 4 or 5 rings. And Nick, people, like, over time, people were like LeBron, obviously got a lot of criticism when he went to Miami. It helped them that they lost the first year. But over time, people forgot all that and just praised him as the best player in the world, even though that team was stacked. I think it would have happened with Durant.
Well,
people would have been like,
totally agree.
He would have been viewed as better than Steph.
Well, that's the thing.
He would have been viewed, and he might be in that top 10
If he
combo.
would have stayed the whole time, I don't think Steph ever repasses him.
No.
Right?
Yes. So here's and maybe it's because I was there for these finals when I was working on Countdown. This is 2018 finals, and I view these finals as Durant carrying the team. Nobody else does because I think it's kind of marred by joining the team.
And the defense focused on Steph. I mean, Ty Lue even said that Steph was the focal point of our defense.
So
he was with Cleveland.
So he's out here. He was cooking in the closeout game. He had 39, 14 for 20, played 40 minutes. He had 5 blocks one game. I feel like these are those 2 finals MVPs and those finals runs have just been kind of butted.
So I think there's another factor to it. I think if Kyrie doesn't leave Cleveland, then maybe we feel differently. Because I don't look at it as 2 amazing, unbelievable finals performances, even though it was. I look at it as in 2017, Golden State was the justified favorite, but the Cavs had a fighting chance. And Kevin, as great as LeBron was, Kevin Durant was unstoppable. 2018, it was like, okay, it was LeBron and at post Isaiah Thomas trade, you know what I mean? A bunch of guys. And it just felt like, you know what I mean? Especially after that game 1 where LeBron goes 51-8-8, the series was over. And so Durant was great in that series. And also in game 3 of that series, hit the huge shot. But there was no real suspense to that series. So it feels like if there was a more equitable challenger out east.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
The team was just, I don't even feel like the first series was suspenseful. I mean, they were just way,
But don't
I
you
think
think
you
like
picked
Magic, I mean, that's an interesting thing. Like, Magic benefits from Bird.
Yes.
And Wilt benefits from Russell.
And LeBron benefits from from beating the 73-win. But I want to bring up the LeBron piece real quick before we move on as a corollary. If after LeBron, and once LeBron left Miami, he was far more accomplished than Durant when Durant left Golden State. He already had 4 league MVPs, same number of rings and finals MVPs, but LeBron had more of everything else. If after LeBron left Miami, he never once again made a conference finals, never once again sniffed a ring, he's not anywhere adjacent to any of these GOAT conversations. It was the fact that after he left Miami, he went to 5 more finals, won 2 more rings, and all those things. Durant had that available to him. Not the same, because he's not as good as LeBron, right. but it's still, you know, a junior varsity version of that.
Well,
3 finals appearances.
If he stays in Golden State and has 5 rings, he's in the top 10.
Yes, but even if he doesn't stay in Golden State and just
wins
and just goes somewhere and it works once,
like he'd have had to win.
Yeah, but it was. But at some point, when he got to Brooklyn, particularly when they got James Harden, it was supposed to be an unstoppable team. When the day we were at the Super Bowl in Phoenix, the day Phoenix traded for Durant. And I was shockingly in a card room where you could see the NBA futures populate. And they immediately became the second favorites to win the title. Both times, it was like, oh my God, this team's going to be great.
And injuries did fall him up. Quickly, I would say this to your Durant in the finals. He was great. There's no doubt, and he was the MVP. But people that I just feel you understand basketball, yes, we credit him for that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.
With Pro Plan Sport, incredible happens here. But it starts here. Pro Plan Sport, advanced nutrition for strength and stamina.
When you'd rather enjoy the pool than clean someone else's.
Sweetie, get out of the pool.
It matters where you stay. Conrad Hotels and Resorts. Hilton for the stay.
Live from New York, it's the show that's on day 2 of the Eagles championship reign. How's it feel? Better than yesterday? You feeling okay?
It's basketball season. What are we leading the show with?
We're leading the show with Luka, but then the rest of the
season.
Show is questioning Mahomes' legacy, considering he's played one of the worst games in Super Bowl history.
I had to dig into all. He does not sound like a Mahomes guy.
And by the way, it's not even
Mahomes deserves our honesty.
That's fine, but it's not even a bottom 5 game in Super Bowl history. It's not even a bottom 3 game by legendary quarterback in Super Bowl history. By any measure. I don't think you really spent time doing it.
Elway has a few of them.
Elway's got a bunch of them. Peyton's got one.
Disagree.
Next Gen Stats doesn't go into the archives.
Sponsored by AWS?
It doesn't, buddy. Next Gen Stats for the last 8 years.
It was on par with Sam Darnold's IC Ghost game. We start with Luka's intro. Literally introduced last as LeBron gave him the honorary anchor spot. Doncic was on a minutes restriction, but did put up 14 points. For the surging Lakers, who have won 10 of their last 11, are now in 4th place.
He should have said, well, the trade cost me $100 million. I know you got money to burn, LeBron.
Do you believe this team can contend?
You know what? Yes. I think they are contenders, all right? I think there's my 3 top contenders in the West, Oklahoma City, Denver, which is starting to play well. They've won 7 straight. I think they've gone 19-6, so they're getting. Jamal Murray started slow.
Who could have seen a slow Jamal Murray start coming?
And now he's been playing great the last couple months, so they're getting their thing going. But OKC, Denver, and the Lakers.
Yep.
I had 2 main